dead and gone, and you will never, never know. I live my life for you. Your song springs on tomorrow, like a bullet ripping through. Nothing can stop us now. We'll never cease to be. And you will never know. You're
Good afternoon, and welcome back to the MoleHill episode 11. Yes, it is finally time for another podcast, and let me switch to live here very quickly. Hi, if you're like, man, Mole, you are looking interesting today, if you were watching this on YouTube. Let me tell you, I didn't have a great night. I had 6 hours of sleep, which for me is absolutely not enough. I know for some people it's like, what, 6 hours of sleep? I would murder for that. Yeah, well, that's good on you. Unfortunately for me, that is not very great. Like, that is barely functional, to say the least. And yeah, so I had 6 hours of sleep. I did go to bed at 9 a.m. in the morning. And I feel like, whoa, what did you do? I couldn't sleep. I have this weird threshold where when I'm basically going over that threshold at night, I will have some serious issues to fall asleep. And well, I crossed that threshold because yesterday I completely lost everything which has to do with time. Like, I was done with work, right? And I was just like, yeah, not really realizing how late it already was and how bad it was. So yeah, not feeling great. Not feeling great at all. I have this small little headache and feeling a little bit lethargic, and it's not, yeah. Again, 6 hours of sleep is not, I'm not functioning. But with that said, we have a lot of things to discuss today. Like, holy moly, is there a lot to discuss. It has been a very eventful week for gaming in general. I think we covered everything gaming related. We had video games, we had hardware, we had content creation, and we had esports, and everywhere it was a disaster. And yeah, holy moly, see what you did there? I don't know what you were speaking about, but welcome in, folks, welcome in. But yeah, we have like so many things to talk about. Quick note, I might actually return for something stupid later today, depending on how I feel in just a few and after the whole podcast. So we'll see about that. But yeah, we have tons of things to discuss, so let's jump right into it. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the games I have been playing this week for everyone who is not watching my live streams. And also some stuff I'm doing off streams. I've been playing more Cyberpunk 2077, which is apparently everyone doing right now because Cyberpunk has now reached a new milestone. They have now over 100,000 concurrent players playing the game. If you're like, huh? What happened? What? Well, the answer is pretty simple. The anime happened. If you missed it, they released an anime on Netflix. It's like, anime, I'm not watching that. Well, then you are missing out. And it's kind of weird for a lot of people who always make the argument of I'm not watching anime because it's cartoons and cartoons are for kids. It's like, dude, you're playing video games, shut up. Watch the anime. Watch the anime. Like, it's I always find that whole argument so silly. And welcome in, Sakura, welcome in. Yeah, by the way, for everyone who hasn't watched Edge Runners yet, you should. It's really good. I had some people who asked, should I play the game before? No, you don't have to play the game before at all. I would even say it's better that way. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm coming to the conclusion that it actually is better not having played the game. If you have played the game, then you draw a lot of conclusions, right? Which is fine. Like, for me, it was more like a, yeah, okay, right? Like, I came to a lot of conclusions very early on where the story is going, who are the bad guys, like, right, like, all this came pretty naturally to me because I played the game. And so for me, like, a lot of things was like, oh yeah, now that I have played this game, I know, like, what is going around. But again, if you have not watched Edge Runner yet, it is fantastic. The animations are out of this world. Studio Trigger has been doing a fantastic job again, as they usually do with all their animes. Like Trigger became a staple in the anime world, I would say. The story again was fantastic. Voice acting. I have watched a little bit in English, and then I have watched the rest in Japanese. But the English is really good, especially, like, I would not say so. I was thinking about saying something about like one of the voice actors of one of the characters, but then I just realized I would not do that. I would not do that. There are reasons for it. Yeah. And again, no spoilers here, so you don't have to be afraid of that. But yeah, let me show you this very quickly. Cyberpunk is now the number 8th most played game on Steam right now, and it has nearly 120,000 concurrent players. Yep. I think this is one of the craziest comebacks I have seen in a very long time. I'm actually doing another playthrough myself because I have never finished the game, and I have only played the open world mechanic, right? I've never really done too much of the story, so I'm just going through the story right now, and the story is alright. Like, the world design in Cyberpunk 2077 is still absolutely fantastic, but again, there are a lot of things I'm not a fan of, and that will never change. We talked about this, I think yesterday, or 2 days ago. The official model tools are also now available for this game, and people are already making use of it. Yeah, okay, 90% of all the mods which are coming out right now are like some porn mods. Let's be honest here. We all expected that, right? Like, of course, the moment the people can mod stuff, and apparently the modding tools are like really in depth, like really in depth. People would do a lot of like naughty things with it. I mean, it was to be expected, especially in a game like Cyberpunk 2077. But there are also some really cool stuff. Like I showed the transit, right? The open transit system in the game, which was planned for the game, but then got axed, and basically a modder did go back, added it in, and now you can drive around on the train, right? Which you see in the game. Like, the train is there. You can never board the train though. And what they have basically did with the mod is you can now board the train. It's completely animated. Like, you can watch from the inside, and it's really cool. Again, there is some really cool mods coming for the game, and this could be another huge boost for the longevity of this game. So yeah, played some more Cyberpunk. We also started to play Return to Monkey Island. I know that the art style was a huge talking point before the release, but what I can safely say now is the art style is good in motion. I think one of the biggest mistakes is to look at the art style from a screenshot perspective, because it doesn't do the game justice, right? I can understand that still enough people are out there who are not liking the art style, but when it is in motion and you actually play the game, it's really good. And I'm enjoying Return to Monkey Island, which we will return to on Monday, probably. Yeah, like I want to play more. What else did I play? Oh yeah, so for the next few days, today I might be back in the evening for some Gundam Evolution. If you're like, huh? Think about Overwatch, but with mechs. Tons of mechs. It's free to play. It's free to play on Steam if you're interested yourself. And it's not pay to win. Yay! It's literally just skins you can buy. and I think you can pre-earn some of the mechs, like some of the Gundams, can be basically unlocked earlier, but it's like you have to unlock like 4 Gundams, but you can also just unlock them by playing the game. So, but yeah, that's all they have. They have a battle pass, they have some skins, that's it. So it's actually a fair free-to-play game, which is cool. I might take a look at it a little bit later today. Tomorrow we are checking out Dome Keeper for like an hour or two. It's apparently from the creators of Kingdom, you know, 2 Kingdoms and all that. This is basically their new game. It's coming out on Tuesday officially, but Raw Fury was nice enough to give me an early access key to it, so I want to check that out. What else did I play? Played some more Diablo. I decided yesterday to start a new character because, like, as fun as the monk is, it's also like not my playstyle. I would just go back to my usual Thorn Crusader build. Always works. So I would just go for that. And I started that yesterday night when I couldn't sleep. But yeah, that's basically what we did this week. I played a lot more Total Warhammer 3. By the way, for everyone who is interested in getting a bit of a recap about what happened to Immortal Empires and when we are standing in Immortal Empires right now, there will be a full-fledged video coming out in just a few hours here on the channel. So if you want to have even more Mole in your life, it's coming. Oh yeah, also, we played Slime Ranger yesterday. We played Slime Ranger 2 Early Access yesterday. And man, what a fun game. It felt very much like Slime Ranger 1. I heard some people arguing that there's not much new here. So what they basically did is they took all the gameplay features from the first one, transferred it to the second one, added like a few slimes so far, a few new areas, of course, well, completely new areas. But gameplay-wise, we are still very much just Slime Ranger 1 with not too much interesting new stuff. So I'm actually curious to see where they're going with it, and I would love to continue to play it because I had some real good fun with it. Excuse me. But those were the games we've been playing this week. Was quite a bit. And I would say we are jumping into the big news part. So our main topic for today will be leaks. How do they happen? Where do they come from? How can you prevent them? Are they really bad? Or do they even have like some good stuff to it? Like all those questions we will answer in the main topic for today. And of course, this was prompted by the big GTA 6 leak happening a week ago. And just, I think this is the biggest leak in the gaming industry forever. Like, I haven't seen anything bigger than that. Like, Half-Life 2 came pretty close 20 years ago. But even that, the scale of the internet's reaction, nah. Sorry, Half-Life. You are not even close to that. But again, that will be part of our main topic for today. So let's talk about the things which happened in other areas of gaming, because believe it or not, there was quite a bit. And I would say we are starting with the content creation side, and we are starting with Twitch. Twitch has a week behind them, to say the least. Twitch has been... Hey, Jeek. Twitch has been absolute, like, just failing on every level. Like, the first announcement was actually something positive. They basically gave in to the pressure of the big content creators who did speak out for them. And they said that they will ban now, especially unregulated gambling on the website. But a lot of people pointed out that, wow, so when basically your big content creators tell you what to do, you can react in 48 hours when it comes to gambling, but anything else is like secondary for you. And I get that sentiment, but here's the thing. It is much, much easier for Twitch just to say this is not allowed to stream anymore on the platform, instead of going to people and tell them, stop doing the hate rates. Right? And it's like, look, I really get the sentiment that Twitch has to do more. They just have to do more. But again, it's a completely different playing field to stop hate rates or telling somebody you are not allowed to stream this one thing on the platform anymore. Again, not defending here Twitch. They can do a lot of things better. But yeah, it's not that easy. But still, they cave to the pressure of the big streamers very quickly. And you would say, okay, that's still a win for the platform, right? Yeah, but then over the night, like literally over the night, they posted it between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning, depending on where you lived in the USA. And they were posting that they will remove the 70-30 revenue split starting next year for the big content creators who have it, the moment they are reaching 100,000 US dollars made in that year. And I like reading through this statement, I think it was one of the most insulting statements I have ever read from a higher up, from a CEO position, to gamers and to content creators in many years. This whole thing of, who the hell are you? You are nothing. Bow to me, bitch. It's like, whoa. You come down from your high horse there, and then we talk again, okay? Like the biggest problem here, well, one of the biggest insults, I think they really did make a bet on that small content creators go, yes, yes, oh my god, the big content creators are losing their 70-30 split. Yeah, suffer like we suffer. Yeah, this is what they bet on. And I find that so sleazy. Like, reading through that statement again, it becomes more and more clear that this is what they were hoping for. That the small content creators would basically celebrate that the big content creators are not making extra money anymore. And that they were going with this approach. You're just an asshole. I'm sorry, you were just an asshole at that point. And the good thing is, nobody did fall for that trick. Well, most content creators did not fall for this trick. Because they just realized, this is not like Twitch doing anything for their content creators. This is literally Twitch deciding, I want part of your money. I need part of your money. And I want that now. That's why they are doing this. But in the end, and I have never really said this about Twitch. I was always very critical about some of the decisions they made, right? But I never said what I would now say. Twitch is dying. They pulled a gun out, pulled the trigger, aiming at their head, and the bullet is now flying directly to their head. And if they would dodge the bullet or not, we will see. But this could be the end of them. Why? Have you ever wondered? Have you ever wondered why there are a lot of Twitch streamers who don't move to YouTube? Even though YouTube is giving you a better cut? Because the reason is this 70-30 split Twitch had for the big streamers. That's the same split YouTube has for everyone else. Right? Like, that's what YouTube has for everyone. Like, if you are a YouTube partner, you are getting a 70-30 split. I have it. Tim the Tatman has it. and so on and so forth, right? It's the same thing throughout the platform. But there was the way how Twitch could compete with this. They could go to the big streamers and go like, here, have a 70-30 split. And also, Twitch became really good in gamify monetization, to make it feel like a game, to give people your money. That is something YouTube hasn't really nailed down. On YouTube, it still feels very much like a business decision when you are giving somebody money here, right? And Twitch has been much better than that. So YouTube always had to reserve to offering contracts for the Twitch streamers to get them over so that they could get more money. But the thing is, with the announcement of the removal of the 70-30 split starting at $100,000 and again for big Twitch streamers, that's maybe 2 months, 3 months, right? YouTube is now in a better prospect. And YouTube is starting to wake up. They are starting to realize that they have to up their game, and they are doing it actually. So while Twitch is getting complacent here, YouTube is upping their game. And one of the biggest things I have been hearing from some of the Twitch streamers who came over here to YouTube, like Tim the Tatman, Dr. Disrespect, Dr. Lupo, and so on and so forth, they actually make more money now on YouTube. Huh? How? Well, they didn't really lose too much viewers. They got a bunch of new viewers coming into their channel because YouTube algorithm, right? But, and this is very important, like one of the biggest things is apparently the monetization after you are done with your stream. I mean, look at Twitch. You're done with your stream, it becomes a VOD. End of monetization. That's it. You cannot monetize that. And if you're going to Twitch and you go to some of the big streamers and you look the viewing numbers of their VODs, you realize they have hundreds of thousands, millions of views on those VODs, and they didn't get a single cent out of that. Nothing. Where on YouTube, your VOD or your live stream becomes a VOD, continues to be monetized. You can make clips, you can monetize. You can transform the clips into shorts, you can monetize. You can make your own little 10-minute or 5-minute segments of a stream, put them on another channel, monetize those again. Like the ways on how you can take a 5-hour stream and completely monetize the shit out of it. Like YouTube has perfected that. And Twitch has absolutely nothing on that. And more content creators realize this because Twitch is moving over to advertisement revenue, right? Like Twitch is pushing advertisement hard on their platform, but they're not giving you the options really to utilize it. Like they don't have the options. And they are realizing that. And now that the 70-30 split is gone, we saw already a lot of big Twitch streamers announcing to at least think about it, to move over to YouTube. And when this whole thing is taking effect on June 1st next year, I think before that we will see a lot of streamers announce that they are moving to YouTube. So, yeah. But then, apparently, Twitch also knew that another article was coming that day. Oh, it's not over yet. No. Another article was coming, and that was that Twitch apparently had a child molester issue. Yep. Apparently, there is a whole network of well, frankly speaking, pedophile people on their platform hunting for kids streaming on Twitch, even though they are not allowed to, because you have to be at least 13 years old, and going into their channels and making them do some weird stuff, right? And Twitch knew about this. And Twitch's reaction to this was, till now, we do our best. Yeah. And that article came out on the same day as the revenue split, just a few hours afterwards, and apparently Twitch was aware that this article was coming. So, gaslighting? Anyone? It's... But that is not enough. Oh no, if you have missed it. Yesterday evening, the Twitch content chief announced her departure internally the same day as Twitch was announcing the revenue share news. And she worked directly under Twitch's president, Dan Clancy. And basically, she apparently mentioned as a reason he is out of touch with creators and profit focused. This will not end well. Peace, I'm out. Well, the peace, I'm out I added, but the rest is apparently what she said. Which is bonkers, right? When even basically your other suits are telling you, dude, you are crazy. You have lost the plot. You have completely lost it. We are out. And as I said, this is not a warning shot anymore for Twitch. Those are the death bells ringing in the background. And if Twitch is not doing a sharp turnaround, I would now say at this point, Twitch will not exist in the next 2 years. How can I say this? What expertise I have? Mother Trucker, I'm a 5-year Mixer streamer. I have streamed for 5 years on Mixer, till they announced just one day that my platform I've been making my livelihood on will disappear into thin air with everything I've been building in 5 years. I think I have learned to read the signs a little bit. And I'm definitely not the person who is paranoid about every platform closing like some people do. Like I have seen people on the internet going nuts whenever like something is changing on the platform and they're like, this is the end. It's like, no, dude, it's just a change on the platform. Calm down. Like I'm not the doomsayer here, right? But man, looking at what just happened this week on Twitch, I made the joke, I think it was yesterday on Twitter. If I would be a Mixer streamer, I would start to look out for a new platform. And yes, I said Mixer streamer. It's like, if you have been there on Mixer when it all did go down over the years, you see the writings on the wall. And it will not end well. But yeah, I will keep it posted. Next news. Twitch is not the only company who did draw the ire of the gaming community this week. Good old Nvidia has announced their 4000 series with a hefty price increase and not so much an increase in performance. They are bringing a few new gimmicks with the card, but let's be honest here, the last time they brought a few new gimmicks to a card was with the 2000 series, and well, it was nice to have, but not really groundbreaking. And yes, I even mean DLSS because it took so long till DLSS got adopted that I got my 2800 Super sponsored by Nvidia. I got my card for free. Right. But I will be honest, if I would have bought the 2080 Super, nowadays I would very much question my decision. Not because it's a bad card, and now we have reached a point where this card is really doing what's designed for, but that is over 3 years ago. It took about 3 years for this card to reach the point where I could say, yeah, now I'm feeling I'm really getting what I paid for, well, would have paid for out of this card. Which is not really good, right? And the same feeling I have with the new features the new 4000 series is bringing. It's like, okay, who's adopting all those features? Because they showed us the new super ray tracing or whatever they call it. They showed us DLSS 3, and it's like, okay, they only showed it on Cyberpunk. Show us more games with that. How many games are actually using it immediately? Like, Nvidia's promises have always been a little bit shallow, but that wasn't the biggest concern from this event. The biggest concern was the fast one Nvidia tried to pull on the people. So, if you have missed it, they basically announced a 4080 for 1,200 euros. That is the 16 gigabyte version. They also announced the 4080 for $900, and that is the 12 gigabyte version. And people were like, okay, that's like 300 euro difference or dollars difference for 12 gigabyte of RAM. Okay, oh well. But as it now turns out, this isn't a 4080. This is a different card. It's not just the gigabyte of RAM. First, the 4080 with 12 gigabyte will have 2,000 less CUDA cores, and basically is not bringing the same amount of chipsets or cores to this whole fight. Also, the 4080 with 12 gigabyte has only a 192-bit interface for the memory, whereas the 16 gigabyte version has, let me see, I think it's 265, if I am not mistaken. Or was it even more than that? I don't think it was more. Like, I think if you wanted to have like the 300 and something, you needed the 4090. Let me see. Yeah, they have a 256-bit interface. Yep. Yeah, it's basically with 2,000 CUDA cores less and a 195-bit interface. It's not a 4070, it's a 4060, because the 60 variants of the GeForce all had the 195-bit interface, right? They had that for ages. And that is just, that's just crazy. That's just crazy at this point. Yep. And that they try to pull this on the people doesn't really surprise me too much, to be honest. it doesn't surprise me too much, because if there is one thing Nvidia really likes to do, is that kind of bullshit. Might I remember everyone that the 970 exists? Don't get me wrong, the 970, amazing card. I had it. Like, nearly everyone had it. It was one of those generation cards, right? But keep in mind, Nvidia got actually dragged to court to this, and they actually got convicted for pulling the bullshit, because they said, hey, we are giving you 8GB of RAM. Well, actually, we only give you 7,500 megabyte of RAM, and the rest of the 8GB, the 500 megabyte, are on a super, super slow, like, RAM and bitrate. So, but they didn't really tell that anyone. Like, not even in the fine print. Like, they had to pull the card apart and figure that out. And yeah, Nvidia got dragged to court for this. And they had to pay. They had to pay to the consumers in the US. Not to the people in Europe, because we got screwed, but yeah. Yay. Like, Nvidia likes to pull fast one. And this is another one, and it is so damning. Like, the price increase, and then trying to hide that actually price increase by calling something a 4080 12GB version, even though it's actually just a 4060. And they hope that you wouldn't realize that they hijacked the prices that much. It's like, at this point, I can totally understand that EVGA just said, I'm out. I'm absolutely out. By the way, that the 480 with 12GB is a joke. It's kind of interesting when you are looking to the third-party manufacturers, and none of them has shown the 12GB version. They showed all the other versions, but not the 12GB version. Why? Because the manufacturers also thought this is not a 4080. So they didn't pre-produce it, because Nvidia didn't told them the name of it, and it was a last-minute change. And so none of the third-party manufacturers were showing any of the 12GB versions. And it's like, yeah, that's Nvidia for you, I guess. But at this point, I can only hope that when AMD will showcase their new series, that they're not falling into a trap here. They can behave themselves. And I saw some people arguing whataboutism. Like, yeah, when AMD would be in this position, they would do the same thing. Of course they would do the same thing. They are a fucking corporation. But they are not in this position. So let me hope that they are doing it right. Like, it's horrible for some people that they are still trying to find a way to defend all this bullshit. Yeah, AMD would do the same thing. Yeah, but they are not in the position. Stop. It's like, again, whataboutism. Now, speaking of that, let's go into the last news before we are talking about our main topic. And that is G2 Esports. If you've missed it, at the beginning of the week, the CEO of G2, one of the biggest esport organizations out there, they are active everywhere. League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Valorant, Apex Legends, they're everywhere. And they are dominating. Like, they're actually like one of the We Win Championships esports teams, right? And it was founded by Carlos Rodriguez Ocelot, Ocelot, his gamer name, over a decade ago when he left his own League of Legends esport teams, which was SK Gaming back in the day. And he founded G2 Esports with an investor, and they were just growing since. They have like a lot of big sponsors. Like, I think Ferrari, Vodafone, they have some huge sponsors. And they've been doing good. Now, last week, they had a video where they were celebrating that they will go to the League of Legends World Championships. And now you might say, okay, celebration video sounds harmless. Yeah, till you are scanning the faces of the people in that video and you realize that Andrew Date has been in that video. And if you're like, who is Andrew Date? Be thankful that you don't know this guy, but he's a misogynistic asshole, which is also now being investigated in human trafficking. Yeah, he is under investigation for that as well. And basically, this dude is thinking about a woman in two ways: boobs and vagina. That's what a woman is comprised of, and that's the only thing women are basically good for, in his eyes. So he got basically, not basically, he did got banned from all social media outlets: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. Like freaking Facebook. Like, you know you were doing badly when even Facebook is like, whoa, you are not on our platform. You are not on our platform here. Ain't gonna happen, right? And again, he has also been investigated now for human trafficking. And he was in the video, and people were, of course, calling Ocelot out for it because it was a business video, right? And instead of Ocelot going like, yeah, he was just there, I didn't invite him even, or something like that, no, Ocelot was doubling down, and he was going very hard in a tweet with some strong words to basically say, no one is policing my friendship. What you gonna do about it? Well, the shareholders then basically showed him what they're gonna do about it. They were suspending him for 2 months, which is like, yeah, okay, whatever, and he wouldn't get any pay. And at this point, it looked very much like that he is getting a slap on his wrist, and he would be back after 2 months as the CEO, and everyone would have forgotten about this. But then on Wednesday, something crazy happened. Riot Games announced that G2 Esports will not get the bid on a franchised Valorant spot in the USA. So what Riot Games does with their esport, they are franchising the teams. A little bit like the NFL does, or NBA, right? Like, you're getting franchised in, and with that, you are staying in the premium league of that esport game. League of Legends has been doing this now for 8 years, 9 years, something like that, 9. And I remember when they announced this, they also announced how much the companies have to pay to get into that franchise spot. $10 million each. Every spot would cost $10 million each. And you would think, whoa, which esport company has the money to do this? And who wants to do that? Well, it turns out that after the announcement that literally everyone around the globe was trying to get into the franchise, like even esport teams from China and South Korea tried to enter like the NA scene as their own brand because they wanted to get into those spots. That's how lucrative Riot Games and the franchising is. That's how much money there is on the table in the long run. And people are willing to pay that much money up front. And, well, the same thing should have happened with G2 Esports and Valorant. And Riot was, no. You will not get the franchise spots. And that is the one thing you are not allowed to do as a CEO. Burn a lot of money because of your escapades. And basically having the investors losing out on millions of dollars. That is the one thing which has always been a no-go, right? And of course, there were also rumors that sponsors were reviewing their sponsorship with G2 Esports. Even Riot Games was like, hey, you were franchised in League of Legends. After we had this big sexual assault disaster a few years ago in our company, and we really changed, like they did actually a lot, and they had multiple independent companies telling like, yeah, Riot Games actually is hammering down on all of this. They don't need that bad publicity. And they have been showing in the past that whenever a team was stepping out of bounds, Riot was very fast to hammer them in. Like I remember, what was it? A few weeks ago, there was like another CEO. So was the CEOs, man, of another big esports company, TSM, who got into real big trouble. And Riot Games was like, last warning, you pull that shit again, you are out. Like, Riot Games is not screwing around when it comes to those type of things. So, the result of that is this. G2 Army, it's been a tough week for all of us. And following the events of last weekend, today we received and accepted Carlos' announcement to step down as the CEO of G2 Esports. He didn't step down, he was stepped down. Basically, the investors came to him and said, Carlos, you have 24 hours to announce that you are stepping down, or we will make you. As a global esports organization serving the world's most diverse fan base, we have to do better, yada, 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 blah, 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 whatever. So basically, they have now removed Carlos from the scene, and they don't really want to be associated with that. And to be fair, G2 Esports is actually really diversifying. They have announced multiple esports team for women only. They are trying to open up their esports team for women and other marginalized groups. And they have been doing this before anybody else did it. And they are really successful. Like, they have teams, like all female teams, who are also dominating in regions. Like, they actually get talent. It's not just for them like a marketing strategy. It's actually like, yeah, we recognize their talent and we want them, right? So having a slightly chauvinistic CEO contradicts that picture. And of course, that's not good for them. So, yeah. That was the week in gaming news, and that nearly took us over an hour to talk about it. Man, it was a crazy week, I tell you. It wasn't an absolute crazy week, and it started with a big one. And let's talk about the main topic for today. GTA 6 and leaks in general. So if you have missed it, can you even miss it? I don't think you can miss it. But last weekend, GTA 6 was leaked. And we are not just talking about a header or a blurry screenshot or a 3-second like recorded off the monitor with your super old smartphone kind of thing leak. We are talking about 90 HD videos all over the internet. And as we apparently found out, even the source code of GTA 5 and GTA 6 was in the hand of a hacker. Now, hacker is a little bit of a broad term here, because the person who did all this, as it turns out, was a 16-year-old boy in England. I think in Oxfordshire he lived. I'm not so sure. In England. And he is now 17. He got arrested yesterday. And he didn't hack anything. I know this is a little bit misunderstood, but he didn't hack anything. He didn't hack into the servers, circumvented any firewalls, and then steal all the stuff. No. He basically did some phishing. He got the account name and the password of somebody working at Rockstar, and he got basically access to it. How he exactly did that, we don't know yet, but that's how he got access. That's how he got access, and for whatever weird reason, Rockstar decided to have the source code of GTA 5 and GTA 6 on their Slack. I don't know why you are doing that, but that is a major security risk. Like, don't put your source codes on your Slacks. Like, just don't. Yeah, so, I put the source code of GTA 7 in Microsoft Outlook, everyone. If anyone is interested. Hey, Drakadai, welcome in. It's like, why are you doing that, man? By the way, folks, I put the source code for The Witcher 4 in my Discord channel. If anybody wants to take a look at that, like, just don't, okay? But that was, of course, very problematic, and we don't know what happened to the source code yet. We will probably never do. But Rockstar also issued a statement just a day later saying that, yes, it happened. Yes, this is GTA 6. No, it will not change what we have planned with the game. There might be still a small delay because they have to check the things and they might change a few things here and there. But apparently the release date or the release window they have in their head is still spot on. The announcement is still spot on. So this is just chugging along. But here's the thing. As the internet goes, a lot of people had a lot of thoughts on the leaks. And it once again showed that 95% of the gaming industry or the gaming community has absolutely no clue how video games are made. And that is the biggest problem. Like, there are a lot of people who are talking shit about video games and what developers have to do better and all that, but they have absolutely no clue how video games are coming together. Like, one of the biggest things, which is still happening on Twitter, some idiot was coming forth and saying, oh yeah, this is like super old footage of GTA 6 because you see the graphics. Yeah, the graphics is the first thing which is finished in a video game. Like, you always finish the graphics first, bro. And hundreds of developers stepped forward and were like, shut up. You have no clue what you are talking about. They were sharing clips of their games months before the release looking like ass. Because that is actually not what is finished first, and one of the things which is getting actually finished last. And so let's have a look at leaks. How do leaks happen? I think that's the first question. Well, I think there are two variants of leaks which are happening the most. The one is a developer who is reaching out to a journalist and is telling them a little bit about the game, who is like maybe even giving them some footage, and then the journalist can decide if they want to show the footage or not. A lot of journalists decide not to, because what they are seeing in the footage makes sense for them, because they're working in this field. They have been working in this field for years, and they can make sense of what is shown. But as I said, 95% of the internet cannot, so it would be damaging, and they are deciding not to showcase that footage. But most of the time, it is one or multiple developers who are posting things or who are reaching out to a journalist. The second biggest leak group is accidents. Believe it or not, most of the leaks happen actually through accidents. Like somebody is screwing up a time zone, somebody is uploading something too early, somebody didn't know that this was under NDA. Sometimes we have rating boards who have to rate like games much earlier, and they are then posting the ratings on their rating board website, and people are like, wait a second, what game is rated? What? We didn't even know that game is coming. How can this be rated? Right? And like, it's a lot of accidents. Like sometimes games are showing up in the launcher where you can buy them or pre-order them too early. It's a lot of accidents. It's a lot. And another group which definitely did rose to prominence and which are one of the biggest security risk at this point, I would say, are influencers. Me. Well, not me, because I know my shit, but people like me, content creators and influencers, because marketing has realized that content creators play a big part of how to create a marketing plan and how to draw in people. So what they're doing is they're giving content creators early access, right? And a lot of content creators don't know how time zones work. They don't sometimes read the NDA, or they sometimes just completely ignore it. There was this, funny enough that it happened in the same week, there was the insider on Twitter who was leaking Assassin's Creed Mirage and some other stuff. And as it turns out, it was a content creator from YouTube who got basically early access to some of the Ubisoft events and some other gaming events, and he was just leaking the shit. He was just leaking it on that fake Twitter account. How did we find out? That idiot didn't realize that he was logged into the wrong account. He basically didn't swap his account on Twitter, and he posted with his YouTube account underneath the insider, answering the question of a person who was asking the insider, and everyone was like, yo, didn't you switch your account? Like, wow, completely played himself. That is really bad. And influencers are definitely the biggest security risk there. Because you won't believe how often I see influencers not reading their NDAs, not understanding the time zones, and just doing whatever they want. Like, yes, influencers can be your biggest marketing tool for a new release, but they can also be your biggest security risk, because they're basically an outsider party who is not always the most professional person. And yeah, it's if you want to make sure that your game is not leaking beforehand, don't invite influencers. I really mean it. And yes, I just realized what I'm saying there as an influencer myself. Just don't. Please don't. We are a liability. We're an absolute liability. And don't. So that brings us to the next question. How bad are leaks? Like, I mean, leaks are great, right? Like, you are finding out about the game before it comes out, before everybody else knows. Oh my god, that's exciting. No, it's not. Leaks, depending on the size of the leaks, are really bad. For the companies who need the hype, who need the marketing, where you could now argue, pish posh. I don't care for companies. I don't give a shit about them. Yeah, but they are also bad for you. Why? Because, unfortunately, leaks mean change of plans. As somebody who has worked in the gaming industry and who has worked in the marketing capacity, we had a lot of smaller leaks. Small ones. Super small ones. And it was very problematic. It did mean change of plans. Often or not. I still remember, oh gosh. So I have to be a little bit careful with what I will say here, because as far as I know, my NDA or my contract is still in place. But as some as you know, I worked as a consultant on Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. Right. I was working on the expansion for Final Fantasy XIV, and I was also involved in some of the marketing stuff. And I remember distinctively, and this is a small thing, that one of the new abilities of the Black Mage got leaked. One of the new abilities got leaked. And that was very problematic, especially for me, because one of my areas, they also got some like expertise from me, was on the Black Mage. So you can imagine when the Black Mage ability leaked, the first thing they basically did is called me in for questioning what I did on Friday on 11 p.m., who can vouch for me, and so on and so forth. Like, it was such a small thing. It's like, oh, wow, yeah, okay, the ability of one class of the new expansion has been leaked. One ability. Ooh, right? Yeah. For Square Enix, there was panic mode. Because they also realized it's just a small thing, but when a small thing can leak, what is the next thing which could leak? Like the one thing they actually feared the most was story. They were paranoid about it. And as far as I remember, they actually did something which the movie industry does sometimes. They had multiple story endings going around. Right? They apparently had like multiple story endings going around because they didn't want it to have too many people know what the story was. Actually, in the build I was playing for my consultant work on Stormblood, there was no cutscenes. All the cutscenes were completely removed from the game. Like you could do the main story quests, but there were no cutscenes. Nothing. So you never knew what was going on. They were super paranoid about it. But leaks can be bad for you because the company might have to change things. And depending on how big the leak is, things can change drastically. And in GTA 6 cases, apparently the source code was taken. What's the source code, Mo? Is that the graphic engine from Valve? No. No. The source code is basically the code developers are literally using to make their games. It's the thing you never see as a gamer. Like, you only see the surface, right? You see the graphics, you see the game, but you never see the code working in the background and making this all possible. You think about the Matrix, right? Where you see the city, you see the stuff. That's what you see as a gamer. And then what Neo sees beyond that, that's the source code, right? I know it's a weird comparison, but it's the easiest one you can do. And so when the source code gets leaked, that's Armageddon. Because that means that people can now have access to the code. Why would anybody want that? Well, you as a gamer, you don't care for that really, right? This is why you also never see it. But it is interesting for, well, to other parties, other developers who would love to have a peek at how GTA works. Like, corporate espionage is a thing. Not just in China, it is a thing everywhere. And believe me, companies would love to have a look at the GTA source code, especially of a GTA game which is not out yet. And cheaters. I know this sounds laughable, but cheaters would love to have access to that because that means they have immediate access to the programs, they have immediate access to the code, and they can basically design their cheat programs around this. And if you think, what? Why would cheater go that far? Because it's a multi-million-dollar market. If you were interested to see how far those companies go, check out the most recent Destiny versus a cheat company thing. Like, Destiny is fighting, Bungie and Destiny is fighting in front of a court right now against a company who has made millions and millions and millions for cheating in Destiny. Like, they are fighting over this in the court right now. And it's really interesting to have a look at that. And there are millions involved. So think about this for a second. GTA Online, the second game is coming out. You had the source code of GTA 6, and because of that, you are the first provider of online cheats for GTA Online 2. You would draw in millions. As sad as it is. So, having the source code out there, like, not just for cheaters, there are of course then the people who might want to create some harm with it, right? Like, you have probably sometimes hear it that some software out there got hijacked and they are distributing like viruses, phishing applications, and so many more bad things, right? And so you never want to have your source code out there. Never. And again, for you as a gamer, like, I think the reaction of some of the people online for GTA 6 has been showing pretty well why leaks are bad. Right? Why leaks are bad. So many people go,
This is it? This has a lot of placeholder stuff in it. Oh my god, those are the animations? Oh my god, look at those. They are like robots. They don't even have faces yet. Oh man, I'm not interested in GTA 6 anymore. Oh yeah, if this is GTA 6, I don't want to play it. This is worse than Cyberpunk 2077. It's again, leaks are bad for you because unfortunately, most people cannot comprehend what they are seeing. And you are losing interest for a game, even though the game might be amazing, just because you have seen the leaks. So are all leaks bad? No. Actually, no. Having some leaks where you know that the game isn't work, or like what can you expect from the game when some journalists are giving you some information about what is going on, I don't think that's a bad thing. What I would wish, and this is my biggest issue right now, is that I'm not getting shoved those leaks into my face 24/7. That is one of the biggest issues I have. Like, the moment a leak happens, most of the time you cannot decide not to see that leak. Every website is shooting at you. Social media is talking about it. It's on your feed everywhere. It's in Discords. Like, it's... I think I would have a less shitty opinion on leaks if they wouldn't shove it down my throat that much. If I could choose if I wanted to see the leaks. Like the GTA 6 leak. You had no chance to escape. Literally everyone was posting the leaks. Even if I decided to, I don't want to see it, I would have seen it. And that sucks. And so leaks are, they're a problem. Can you stop them? No, I don't think so. Like, for leaks to stop, it's not possible. Because, as I said, like a big part of the leaks we are getting happen through accidents. It's just sometimes happens. Like, how often did we have the Ubisoft store announcing like a beta, the release of a game, or the announcement of a game too early, or like a press release which is going out too early, or something like that, right? Like, it just sometimes happens. It's accidents. You cannot stop those. We're all human. We're all making mistakes. And the next league level would be disgruntled employees. And yeah, you can definitely do something about that by paying them accordingly, don't crunch them, and so on and so forth. But there will always be like one dickhead who decides to just leak all the stuff he worked on. You know, it's something you cannot stop in the end. But so the answer is, can you stop leaks from happening? No. You can lower the frequency by doing more diligence, by taking care of your workforce more. Yeah. You can definitely do something about it, but you cannot stop it. And as I said, which is really hard thanks to social media and all that, the frequency of you have to see leaks, I wouldn't mind if that is going down. I really wouldn't mind. But with that said, we are at the end of the MoleHill podcast, episode 11. There was leaks. I don't know what our topic will be for next week because, frankly speaking, I don't know what happens next week. Like, for 2 weeks, I had a completely different topic on my agenda. Like, completely different topics. And then the internet industry just happened, right? Like, the whole gaming industry just happens, and I completely had to redo my plans. So, we first had Nvidia. Now we have GTA with the leaks, and I don't know what's coming next week. Maybe the end of the world, who knows? I don't know. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know what we are doing next week. But what I can tell you is, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and also subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more MoleHill podcasts. If you're listening to this on my Patreon, because you're a supporter there, thank you very much for doing that. I really, really do appreciate it. And if you're also listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and where not this is showing up, thank you very much. Make sure to check us out on youtube.com/ChaosMoleFX. The link is also in the video description. And we are streaming here from Monday to Friday at 8 a.m. ET, which is 1 p.m. UK time and 2 p.m. Central European time. And we have also a lot of guide videos, reaction videos, and many more. So check it out. Speaking of videos, in just a few hours, I will release the Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empire video, because, oh boy, we have to talk about that. And I might actually return, not promising, but I might actually return to a round of Gundam Evolution. And if you're like, what? Think about Overwatch, literally Overwatch, but with mechs. It's free on Steam, it's free to play, and it's actually not pay to win. It has only skins. Yay! So, that's neat. But again, folks, thank you so much for watching. And I hope I see you next week for the new MoleHill podcast. With that, have a good one. Stay safe. Bye-bye. Ka-ching!